Welcome back, Wonderlanders! I'm here once again with a piping hot episode of I Played a Thing, Alice in Wonderland. Last time we explored the first of the false looking glasses, got that entirely useless bit of optional content out of the way, and now we're in the museum, where we found the chessboard, on the other side of which is allegedly the Mad Hatter. So let's see if we can find our way through. Parts of the chessboard can be stepped on, and other parts will take you upward like a staircase. It's necessary to do a big jump to get on the part that you need to in order to find the one block that you can go through like a door, and that's why you need to be a giant. I just have to find the right place to jump to. Just have to find the right place to jump. There we go. And I believe the black square right here is the one I need. Oh, but I'm too big. No problem. That's what purple shrooms are for. And through we go. Oh, if I'm not mistaken, there's the man with the hat right over there to the right. But first, let's take a little look around his house. Oh, that takes us outside. Fair enough. Here's that damn cat again. Cats lead charmed lives, you know. Too bad you're not a cat. Who did you say you were? Do you have these attacks of forgetfulness often? Well, if last episode is any indication, then yeah, I'm kind of prone to them. And where am I? At the Stone Circle. It used to be enchanted until the bank foreclosed. Tragic. And why are you perched atop it? Okay, that's a little bit creepy. Oh, no you don't. A cat is frequently charming, but rarely charmed. I don't know, a little catnip mouse seems to do the job. The fire drill is next Saturday. Kind of a non sequitur, but okay. Etiquette doesn't get you very far in Wonderland. Think for yourself, Alice. Well, he's not wrong. A lot of the time we've gotten what we wanted by arguing with people or yelling at them. Tea break! Tea break! Oh, fine. I'm being forgetful again. Was that teasing? Yes, it was. Queen Alice just might escape before the Red King wakes up. You'd better find Looking Glass Land. Everyone wanting to be a queen again, and there's all that talk about the Red King waking up. Hopefully someone will explain that a little better one of these days. And if we're scolds? Balderdash. Straight and to the point. I like it. And we have a looping type of scenario here, where going off to one side of the Mad Hatter's house, and through the screen with the Cheshire Cat, we'll bring you in at the other side. Fair enough. Alright, we've been putting it off long enough. Let's have our chat with the man with the hat. Mr. Stanley, I presume. Not the last time I checked. Dr. Hatter, intrepid explorer of the unknown. Or is that things that I don't know? Either or. And where am I? Somewhere south of Lake Tanganyika. Is that a real lake? Though it looks remarkably like my living room. Because it is there. Now if I could just remember what it is. Excuse me. Somehow you're much smaller than I imagined. Did you shrink on the way here? Repeatedly, as a matter of fact. Frankly, I'd prefer a cup of tea, but I lost my teacup. Oh yes, there was a munificent reward for his missing teacup, isn't there? Let's go through our conversation options first, though. But you must be thirsty in this beastly heat. I'll boil some water for tea. A little boiled water, that always cools me down. Have you taken leave of your senses, or do you just have a 3-day pass? Yeah, we heard that last episode. Good heavens, Stanley, you're delirious. I'll go get help at once. Well, at least he thinks he's making himself useful rather than just storming off in a huff. But I will reload nonetheless. And a good scold? This has to be Africa. It's certainly not Croydon. Alright, enough of that. Here, have your teacup. Here's your reward. It is a top hat made from a beaver pelt. Awesome! Now that I've got a little open space, let's demonstrate that. Yep, the Mad Hatter's hat will let us drift upward in a manner not unlike a reverse parasol or a reverse shuba, if you will. That'll come in very handy, but first let's continue our explorations of the Hatter's house. Or cave, as the decor would imply. It's got a nice organ here, if that's what this is. It's what it looks like to me. And what is it we have here? Could this be another looking glass? I do believe it is. And we've found our way to the Court of Justice, where the White Rabbit has to say, "Are you crazy? You missed the sentencing! Now you've almost missed the trial, and the Queen's been calling for you." Yeah, he really is the general flunky to the Queen of Hearts, isn't he? Okay, you've got me there. I do know you're the White Rabbit. I'm in the courtroom. Ask a stupid question? And why are you doing that flailing thing you're always doing? I call witnesses and send evildoers to the Queen. Speak to her with your knees bent. No, you can't go until you've seen the Queen. Doesn't your tongue ever get tired? You wouldn't say that if you knew the situation. He's rather shy about introductions. We've heard that before. This is no laughing matter. I don't know, I think it's pretty funny. No, we have to finish the trial before the Red King wakes up. There's that Red King waking up thing again. Don't get upset, it'll make all the blood rush to your nose and someone might plant you as a tomato bush. Well, Wonderland being Wonderland, I'd actually be afraid of that legitimately happening. Right into the court we go. Oh, damn it, there's the executioner again. Have you got anything new to say? No. Definitely no. Can we get over you this time? Still no. Once again, we find ourselves in jail. And once again, it's a very easy jail to break out of. Even easier than the other one, in fact, because we don't have to size change this time. There she is, the Queen of Hearts. Kneel when you speak to me, child! Well, I'll get around to that when I feel like it. The judge in the book was the King of Hearts, but again, he does not appear in this game. Oh, and there's Mr. Hatter again. We meet at last, Moriarty, and what a frightfully clever disguise. Don't try to get off by pretending you're insane. You know I'm Sherlock Hatter. About to meet the Queen's Justice at last. Because I am the relentless pursuer of the wicked. By the way, your book is overdue at the library, too. Well, it appears the Mad Hatter is someone a little different every time we meet him. We'll have to see in the future if that holds up. I know you used the March Hare's whisker over and over in the same room where the theft occurred. What theft would that be? And I've only ever used the whisker, like, twice. I'd rather have you make a confession. What do you say? It's good for book sales, if not for the soul. It's kind of mercenary and strangely contemporary. When you meet the Queen of Hearts, you'll be in the lap of justice. Blatant hint there. Help! I'm surrounded by a rising sea of impertinence, another reused line. Ha! I know that Alice is merely an alias. It would be far better for you to take the wrong hat than the wrong attitude. Well, I've already got your hat, and that's all I need, so I'll be moving on. No jurors today. Oh, and we are back at the executioner, so I guess we're going to have to deal with the Queen after all. Later. Kneel when you speak to me, child. And if we try to talk to her, she doesn't say a thing. Not with any of our conversation options. And so, as she and the White Rabbit said, we do actually have to crouch down if we're going to get any response out of her. Who are you again? Yeah, I suppose I ought to, especially with that big sign over your head. Where am I? I don't accept pleas of insanity. Off with her head! What's with all the beheadings? You know the answer to that as well as I do. Because you're the Queen and you get away with it? If you wanted justice, you should have bought a first-class ticket. Off with her head! Good. It's not too late to repent. We know you stole the tarts and tried to make everyone think the knave had. That being a reference to the poem, The Queen of Hearts, She Made Some Tarts All on a Summer's Day, etc. Obstruction of trial. That's a free penalty kick and the loss of a head. Off with her head! I thought you were more of a croquet player. It would be far better for you to take the wrong hat than the wrong attitude. That sounds strangely familiar and recent. I'll pardon you if you can answer a riddle that's been puzzling me ever since the last prisoner asked it. You're born with it. It always goes away when you stand up, but always comes back when you sit down. Well, we got a really dead giveaway to that. It's not a hard riddle in the first place, and the answer was just straight up given to us. But I'm going to answer it incorrectly, just to see what happens. It's a ass! Off with her head! Off with her head! I'm detecting a theme here. Sentence first, trial later. Off with her head! Well, the rabbit did say we missed the sentencing, and now we're going to miss the trial. They do things a little different around Wonderland. Alright, let's try that riddle again. Remember that line about us being in the lap of justice? It's a lap. You may now pass the executioner. And that is how we get to leave the second of the false looking glasses. The Hatter's still not speaking to us. But that's okay, we've got a way out. Alright, what are we to do with this shiny new hat we've got? You would think the power of flight would offer up a whole new realm of possibilities, but the truth of the matter is, in most places it really isn't all that useful. I guess we could skip a little bit of swimming animation here. Oh, wait, no, I don't want to eat the hat. Fortunately, the game will not allow me to do it anyway. Yeah, especially with the falling animation taken into account, I really don't think that was any faster than just swimming. But it is going to let us bypass the ferret here, and that is very useful indeed. So I have no desire to lose my key again, or anything else. And what a good landing that was. Alright, let me think. What is it I need to do next? I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I might need to go to the... not the other tea party, but the first tea party, which I had not yet visited. You'll see what I mean in a moment. No time for your bullshit, Mr. Ferret. No time for your bullshit, Wall. And now, if we remove ourselves from the March Hare's house, we can proceed to a tea party, which has no one in attendance. This is not the other tea party that has been mentioned to us previously. We can pick up some cakes and elixirs here, which are always welcome. This place looks like it's seen better days. For rent, picturesque ruins of Lutwidge's Folly, offered by Cecil Sachs Realty, exclusive broker for Wonderland. Well, Lutwidge is Charles Dodgson's middle name, and Cecil Sachs, we've heard that name, Cecil Sachs, God damn it, Cecil Sachs Sea Shacks by the seashore. Other than that, though, this doesn't seem to have any significance. How can you expect me to finish my masterpiece for the Queen if you block my light? Very well, I'll be on my way. Ooh, or perhaps not. Yep, we have found another character that can block our path. So let's go ahead and have a conversation and see if we can't figure out a way to work this out peaceably. Who are you? Lacey, official artist to the court. Lacey here is an odd little reference. The Dormouse in the book told Alice a story about three sisters, Elsie, Lacey, and Tilly. Elsie was LC, the first and middle initials of Alice Little's older sister Lorena. Tilly, in some respect, represented Edith Little. And Lacey is simply an anagram of Alice. So once again, we find ourselves talking to another version of ourselves. Fair enough. Where am I? Why are you wasting my time with questions? Because that's the only thing that gives me joy. And why are you doing that? I'm trying to finish so that I can go to the other tea party in the rabbit hole. Well, there's another mention of that other tea party, and now we know where it is. You'd be a big help if you just got out of my way. Well, that's my line. It'd be nice to have 3 objects that begin with M. I think we can accommodate, but let's continue our chat first. What would a child like you know about the subject? Well, you're approximately my height, and if you're another version of me, then I know just about as much as you do. When I draw spiders, then I draw spiders. This happens to be a portrait of a melon. His name is Melvin. Hi, Melvin. Only a queen may do that. We've heard that from the Cheshire Cat. In my day, children had manners. Another line we've heard before. Now, you might say, now that you have the magical flying hat, couldn't you just fly right over Lacey here? Let's give it a try. Well, certainly we can't do it at such close range. Nope, it would appear that we can't do it at any range. Just like the Executioner, the game's not gonna make it that easy for us. So, she wants 3 things beginning with an M. For starters, we can supply the fossilized muffin. Anything else? As a matter of fact, I do. The memo. And one more thing we've got. You guessed it, a mushroom. You can become a queen if you go through the true looking glass. Well, there we go. Once again, we've had a couple of threads we've heard about before, the whole becoming a queen thing and the true looking glass, and they've been handily connected for us. By the way, you can only give Lacey 1 mushroom. You can't give her, like, 1 purple and 1 yellow mushroom. Any kind of mushroom only counts 1 time, so you do have to also have the muffin in the memo. And here's the treacle well. Someone mentioned going down the treacle well, didn't they? Well, we don't have any better ideas right now. It is a bronzed vole with the inscription, "He trespassed." Oh dear. Something tells me we shouldn't actually be here right now. But when has that ever stopped us? A freshly painted sign reads, "Private property. Trespassers will be bronzed. Cricket bat will be accepted as proof that you are a student." Well, we have the cricket bat, and therefore we can go onto the cricket ground, but I've never actually tried to do it without the cricket bat. At least not that I can remember. What happens if I drop it and try to go in? Goodness, we've got a lot of elixir and cake. Oh, there I go, scrolling right past the item I want again. There. I say, old bean, students only. Alright, fair enough. What do you think of this door? There we go. Oh, even in Wonderland we have to go to school? That sucks. Well, let's check out the music room. That shouldn't be too tedious. Sorry, this is my turn to use the music room. You'll have to leave. Well, I'm going to bend your ear first, like I do with everyone. Who are you to be putting on such airs, anyway? The Mock Turtle, but everyone calls me Mox. In the music room. Are you new here? Once again, I find myself ignoring a very blatant sign right over my head. I want to sing for the Queen. Flat tunes make for lost heads. Yeah, well, merely existing in the same general vicinity as the Queen tends to make for lost heads. Well, if you really came just to be an audience, I'll continue singing. Munch, 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 the sheep are eating grassy meadows far and wide. And that would seem to be the tune of Jesus Loves the Little Children. I just want to be alone. The new students get stupider every year. Actually, since I've gotten the song, I want to save my state here, just so I don't have to go through that again if I scare him off. I can't help it if I was demoted from being a real turtle. The whole gimmick with the mock turtle is, in Wonderland logic, it's what mock turtle soup is made out of. Mock turtle soup, instead of using actual turtle, uses, like, I think a calf's head and organ meat, which is why in the book, the mock turtle has the head of a cow. I think he might supposed to have a cow's head here in the game, but you really can't tell from the graphics. This is beyond endurance, and that's already 5 miles beyond Roxton. Once again, the characters are repeating themselves. I'm going to complain to the Queen about you. Well, we've given her 3 teapots and answered her riddle. I think she'd sooner listen to us than to you. Anything else to do here in the school? Nothing in here. What about in the dance hall? What have we got here? What the... Dude! But now we're back in... Yeah, the room with the Marzipan Dreadnought. I think we found us a little one-way shortcut there. But that's just as well, because we have to head back to an earlier part of the game anyway. What I'm actually doing now is heading back to the very bottom of the rabbit hole that we originally came down in. As was mentioned, there's another tea party in the rabbit hole, and that's where we're heading to now. That might seem like a long way, but now that we're not actually stopping to talk to any characters along the way, it shouldn't take very long at all. Oh, respawn mushrooms. Don't mind if I do. No time for explanations. I've got a tea party to get to. There's always time for size items. Now, in the distant past, this would have been a one-way trip for us. We wouldn't have any way to get back to that tiny door above the Pool of Tears. However, we now have, I believe, 2 options. I'm pretty sure both of them would work. We could use the... Oh, no, the whisker doesn't quite reach, it looks like. Oh, but it's close enough to make the jump. And we could also use our cool new flying hat. We do still have to be tiny, though. And here we are at the bottom of the rabbit hole once again. And this time I think I'm going to use the top hat in tiny form so we can see what it looks like atop Alice's tiny head. That's kind of cute, I suppose. And this right here, the door that we could never get to because of the overhang there, no way of gliding into it with the parasol, is the other tea party. Sleepy rodent. Must be the dormouse. But we can ascertain that if we get big enough to have a chat. Who are you? The dormouse. Well, that was straightforward. And where am I? Well, if you were me, I'd say I was right by me, I think. I suppose, as logic goes, that's very Wonderlandian. And why are you doing that whole sleeping at the table thing? I'm a night creature and proud of it. There's nothing else to do but sleep. The other party was cancelled on account of sunshine. I just want to be alone! Well, you're stuck with me. What a capital idea! Of course I know how to make sounds other than snoring. I know a lullaby. I don't actually know what tune that is. If you recognize it, please let me know in the comments, because I would love to know. I'd like to see you run around all night and still be wide awake in the afternoon. Well, we're a child. They have boundless energy, especially with a few pixie sticks in them. You can't get around me that way. Watch me. I can get around you any way I want. But thank you for teaching us another song. And it's a lullaby, he says. Wasn't there someone who wanted us to, sing to her children to help them sleep? Maybe we should go look into that. That's right, it was the pigeon who needed a lullaby to help her children sleep. Now let's get big so we can actually make the jump over there. Let's see if we can sing the little buggers to sleep. You know, in context, this song is really dark, isn't it? Singing to a bunch of little pigeons, telling them that in 4 weeks they'll all be converted into feather dusters. I think if I were in the little pigeon's position, that would be some serious nightmare fuel, if in fact I was able to sleep at all. But it seems to have done the trick. And now the pigeon has flown the coop. Didn't your mother warn you that there'd be days like this? Yep, it appears that trying to pass through this looking glass door dumps us on our head. There's a very good reason for that. As I walk off a cliff. As I was saying, there's a very good reason for that. That's the true looking glass, and as we've been informed, it only works at 12 o'clock, which it doesn't happen to be at the moment. And you know, I think while we're waiting for 12 o'clock to roll around, it's a good time to cut the video. Alrighty then, folks. As always, thank you very much for joining me today, and I hope you'll be tuning in next episode when we go through the looking glass and see what Alice finds there. Until then, be good to you. This is signing off. Today's morbid lullaby has been brought to you by Justin Carpenter, Nolden, Zangamarth, Anonymous Benefactor, John Madigan, Sanguine Games, Misha Van Doren, Frank Grizzy, Tim J., Lolo DePuzlo, Joshua C. Ritchie, Jared C. Rice, Sonic Rose, EX Potemkin, Alicia Goranson, Mechasaurus, DG Jono, Doug Russell, August Fortnight, Patrick Bellinger, Andy Kurland, Jerogue, Martin Schallenmakers, Mayo the Hedgefox, Hildegard Argelmach, IGV, Jazel, Joseph Hall, Hot Mayo Sandwich, Dan Larson, Electric Keat, K. Ivan Rupert, Tiny Shopkeeper, Charlie Dunst, Kikoskia, Kobo4231, Alex Beyer, Yuka Takeuchi Fan, Chaotic Narrative, McCaffrey Crandall, and other handsomely hatted patrons. Your support, as always, is deeply appreciated, and I'd like to say thank you as well to my subscribers, all the good folks in the comment section, and everyone out there watching. One of my favorite things about doing these videos is the knowledge that I can brighten a few days out there and thus, in my small way, contribute a bit to this little ball of rock we call home. And so I appreciate you all very much for that as well. Take care, everyone, be good to you and yours, and I'll see you soon with more Alice. Till then.